Did you notice it?
No,
It's
is it
still
still?
there.
It's the one time in
I've
the
just
last
been
couple of
so
weeks I
lazy
haven't
about getting
just.
that.
I don't know. I feel like I
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
all right. Just waiting for someone to
Oh,
actually like pay attention to it and realize what it is.
this is
Maybe
so
we can have like
funny.
a giveaway. It's like, can you notice the thing in our intro?
That's
Oh
hilarious.
man. All right, let's get right into this. It's awesome to catch up. We haven't done an episode in a couple weeks. Yeah. Um, but Emma's gonna lead this one. Do you want to do the intro? Or
Woo!
do you want me to do the intro?
You do the intro. It's an EJ.
Okay. All right, guys. Welcome
You can't
to
throw
Great
me in
Potatoes
like that.
E Squared. I could. Yeah, it's fine. If you guys haven't watched before, my name's EJ, and my partner in crime is
Emma.
yeah.
EJ
Um,
squared.
oh my god, I just noticed that you changed your thing to coach.
Coach. Just coach.
We're both
I didn't know what to
CrossFit
do. I
coaches, both
panicked.
nutrition coaches. So with our podcast, we try to be a one-stop shop for science and experience-based knowledge on supplements, nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle to bring you guys an honest education, hopefully to help you along your journey towards whatever goals you may have. And today we're kind of doing a little like something different. We're not really focusing on nutrition or really, I guess, health and fitness. I mean, kind of health, but we're going to do a recap or analyze a little bit of the Rogue Invitational that just happened. If you don't know what the Rogue Invitational is, it's an annual sporting event that really includes CrossFit, well, the CrossFit competition side, and then big old strongmans. But they were missing a lot of the big names on the strongman side this year.
Yeah.
So it's organized by Rogue, and it originated back in 2019, and it's like famous for a lot more heavier lifts, as you guys will talk about in some of the events that they had. And so you see a lot more of the athletes who are heavy lifters be at the Rogue Invitational.
Mhm.
So, all right, Emma, take it away.
Okay. Rogue Invitational, I believe since its origin year, has been hosted in Round Rock, Texas. Um, Usually every year it's on or around Halloween weekend. And then this year, pretty good weather when it wasn't raining. So um, there was a couple rain delays, and then there were kind of changing certain events. So every event, I think, maybe not every event, but like a solid number of them were changed because of the rain. To make they had to change a couple events in terms of equipment and movement standards, and just things like that. So we can talk through that if anything pops up. But so let's kind of talk about who won. So CrossFit, on the CrossFit side, the women, third place was Emma Lawson from Canada. Second place was Tia Claire Toomey from Australia. And then first place was Laura Horvath from
Yeah.
Hungary. Woo! Okay, obviously he does. Emma Lawson is probably, she's growing on me. But she's 19 or 20. She's like one of the most impressive
Yeah.
athletes I've ever seen. The one thing I love about CrossFit, especially, is like you can tell who a champion is by the way they move. So
Mhm.
even Tia Claire Toomey, as many people know, she's about 6 months out from having her first baby. And she just dove right in. Obviously, she couldn't go to the games this last year in August or this last one in August because she was only maybe 4 months out. So obviously that's a little too early to compete at the highest level, but she probably still could have hung in there. That's the crazy part. There was
Yeah.
a lot of talk about, we can kind of go into this later. This was a point, but like Laura and Tia, they've kind of been neck and neck the last couple of years. And
Mhm.
so people were wondering if Tia had not had her baby, if Laura would have won the games. And so this was kind of Laura's redemption in terms of like proving the fact that she still would have won if Tia was there. So Who knows though?
Yeah, then you
Maybe
have
it was still
the
six
people who
months.
are like, "Oh, it's because she's 6 months postpartum."
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Like
But
scoreboard.
the reality is that what I keep telling people is like that's just the name of the game. Like Tia had a kid. We can't say, "Oh, what if?" because that's just not even a realm of reality. Like Tia had a
Yeah.
child, and because of that, this year in 2023, Laura is the fittest woman on earth, and also the champion of the Rogue Invitational. So anyway, we can talk about that more if we want to later. But for the men, third place was Roman Krenikov from Russia, but he does not sport his flag. So if you're ever watching a sporting event and there's just a blank thing against or next to his name, it's because the Russian flag is not up on the leaderboard. Jeffrey Adler and Pat Vellner in first place.
Mhm.
Both of those guys are from Canada. So not a single American on the podiums here. So
Nope.
not super surprising.
Ye-
Ariel Lowen was in third place for the games in August, so she was the one American that podiumed, I guess, this season in one of the bigger events. So as
Mhm.
far as strongman, Mitchell Hooper from Canada, Tom Stoltman from uh, Scotland, and then I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Do you know how to say his name? Mattias.
Mattias,
Mattias? Yeah? Okay. I'm not even going to attempt his
Kylie
last name.
Smiecki.
From
I don't
Poland.
know.
This man is scary. I don't know why. When I picture Polish people, I think of like, smaller, like more friendly looking people, and he's just a
Mm.
giant. Fun fact, Tom Stoltman weighs like 400 some pounds. Homeboy's huge. Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Holy cow. It was
crazy.
cool seeing
Crazy.
Mitchell Hooper there. Just because he's young. He's
Hmm.
28.
Yeah, you can tell
Um,
too. He's like a fresh face, but man, he moves well.
yeah. He's not even that tall compared to some. He's only 6'3", and some of those guys are freaking like 6'6". Just giants. Like look, it's like Steve Shaw. Steve Shaw is a giant. He wasn't there this year, but
Yeah.
um, I think Mitchell Hooper has the potential to be Steve Shaw level.
And those kind of athletes, like being that big, you got to be like big from day one. You got to be like a 10-pound baby.
I was gonna say, I wonder what they were born,
Poor
like their
mom.
weight. Yeah. Oh my god.
Crazy. So we're gonna dive into each event. We're not gonna like break each event at like down super super hard, but we'll just kind of talk about things as we go. And if we want to talk more about one or two or whatever more we can. So on day one, this was Thursday afternoon. There was a event one for the individual CrossFit comp. We'll just talk about CrossFit first. It was called Texas Heavy, so it was a mile run with a ruck of 100 pounds for guys, 80 pounds for ladies, 800-meter ruck. Um, I'm trying to remember what that even looked like. Those events are a little
The
hard for
ruck.
me to watch all the way through. Yeah, I'm
Well,
trying to remember how they.
they had a ruck pack, like a backpack,
Mhm.
and then they had a ruck bag, which was just like a weighted sandbag.
Yeah, okay. So I remember they threw it off when they got to the
Yep.
mile run. Then they had another 45-pound,
Backpack. Yeah.
30-pound
Yeah.
backpack. Yeah. And then they took that off once they got
Hmm.
done with the 800 meters. Then it was a mile run, just unweighted. And then when they got to the end, I think it was uh,
The
sled
hun
bag pulled to finish. It was what,
just like
like
a
a quick
dead
200
weight pull.
meter. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just on the ground with a tag basically on the end, and they had to pull it. And that was 125 pounds for men and 100 pounds for ladies. The winner of that was Tia Claire Toomey with a time of 2024 and Jeff Adler with a time of 1908. Jeff, with his improvement of running the last couple of years, has been so impressive. He's become
Hmm.
so dominant in running events. It's been
Yeah.
wild. So that was, I mean, usually most events start with some sort of long aerobic monostructural situation. I do like how they added the weight element to it. It definitely helped if you are a stronger athlete to um, kind of slow down the faster athletes. So, you have what was it, 110 pounds on your back basically to start for ladies,
Uh, yeah.
145 for
Yeah. Well,
guys. Was it at the same time?
it was I think, was it 100 or was it 80-pound ruck they had on the back. I thought it was like a 15-pound bag with a 30-pound backpack. So a total of 80 pounds on them for the
I don't know. I have to
gals.
look again. I guess I didn't when I was looking through these events. I didn't even, or this one, I didn't even remember. I just remember them tossing bags off of them when they got to it,
Yeah,
like at certain part.
think the guys
So
had a 55-pound bag and the girls had a 50-pound bag, and
got
then
it.
their
Okay.
backpacks were different weights.
So they when they got rid of that bag, the like
Yeah,
the
they like,
weight
threw off
bag.
50 pounds, or they threw
Got
off
it. Okay.
55 pounds, and then whatever was left.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, if you just think about sometimes the when you think about running events, a taller, skinnier athlete is going to be more the gazelle type, and they're just going to kind of run at a more smooth,
Hmm.
speedy pace. But then you weigh them down with 80 pounds or 100 pounds, and they might not move so fast. So, was there
Yeah.
anything surprising for you on this? I feel like it was pretty.
Um, I mean, it wasn't surprising,
Um,
obviously, to see Jeffrey Adler come in. I was surprised to see Rowan at the top because he's not a strong runner, as I've seen in other events. But
mhm.
he proved that he's probably also been working on it. Chandler Smith has been surprising me of popping up at the top on a lot of stuff,
I
and
think
I'm happy to
what
see
he did
that.
really well last year, and I think it like turned a flip the switch on or something. Like he was like, oh, like I
Yeah.
can hang with the big dogs. And ever since then, I don't know. There's been like a little bit of dog out in him, and I'm like, I kind of like
Hmm.
this. So yeah, he took fifth
Hmm.
um,
I was
with a time
surprised to
of
see
1940.
Pat
Wow,
Vellner at
1941.
13th on this one. But I watching him
Pat
come
likes to
in,
give us heart attacks the
he
first couple
likes
days.
he just likes like he cruised in. Like he
Yeah,
wasn't like working really hard on his run. He just like he looks smooth
it
and I wasn't trying
probably
to really
was
push
because
it.
he knew. I guess I'd have to do way more like research on how athletes are in general, but I know for a fact that Pat knows like that's not an event he's gonna win. So, and he
Mhm.
does this like, the first day or two of competition, like literally sometimes to the final day. He just makes everyone crap their
He
pants
did it
because
the
they're like,
games,
ah,
yeah.
yeah, and then he wins.
Yeah.
So, um, Vellner was actually at the top of the podium, and he didn't win a single event. So
Yeah. It's
that's
all a
how
chess
he.
game on
And that's
yeah.
how Justin Medeiros won the games a couple, like the both times too. I think maybe he had won like one in both
Mm.
times that he had won the games, but for the most part, he was in the top five for like a majority of the events. So, okay, so day two, uh, we
Yeah.
have.
It's more like that one. I changed
You
it.
just had your notes there. So
Yeah.
event
Oh
two,
no, I screwed it up.
seat at the bar. I really liked this one. They
Yeah.
implemented a log muscle up last year. So instead of the bar being like this and we grab it, it's like this, and
Oh,
athletes have to like
palm it.
palm it. I
Yeah.
imagine like a sloth. You know how sloths have like long fingernails, but like no really hands, and they grab stuff like that's like how they had to do it. And then basically they were just doing almost like a slightly kipped strict muscle up because they couldn't really use any, a ton of kip. Um, so for men, it was 20, 15, 10. For ladies, is 15, 10, 5, log muscle up, and then right into 5 back squat. So at 375 and 260. So after each set. So the men would do 20, ladies would do 15, and then they'd walk to the squat rack and do 5 back squats with 375 or 260. They'd walk back to the log and do either 15 or 10, go back to squats, walk back to the log, 10 or 5, and finish with the last 5 squats. That is such a heavy weight. I don't think it was as heavy as last year. I'm trying to remember the weight that they
Don't
couple
remember.
or the last year it was like 275, I think 405 for men. I remember this because there was a couple athletes that couldn't squat that weight. So they were basically just getting stuck at the back squats. And I'm trying to remember what the movement, I think it was back squats with box jump overs. And I remember
Mm.
Ellie Turner like crushing this event. She moved super well. So the one thing, this event is probably my favorite just because it was quick, which we always appreciate, like a good show that doesn't take 1,000 years. But the two people who won it, underdog athletes, Alex Gazan and Ricky Garrard, shocked me that both of those guys won it. I would have never thought in a million
Really?
years that Alex Gazan would win.
Oh, yeah. Alex surprised me. Yeah, she came out swinging.
I was like, oh, like I wasn't super surprised with the muscle up part because I know she's strong. She's got a strong upper body, but the back squat, she moved that weight like it wasn't
Same with
even.
Ricky. Yeah, like they
Yeah,
just it was easy
both of their
butter.
squats look good. So whatever, what's his face is doing? What's her coach's name? Why am I
I don't
forgetting?
know.
Oh, that's bad. He's like one of my Justin. I think it's Justin. Um, but underdogs, apparently they're having to move a lot of weight. So that was probably my favorite event to watch, just because the two people, like I wouldn't have picked those guys to win. I wouldn't have picked them to do bad, but I don't
No.
think I would have been like, oh yeah, I probably would have been like, Laura, or because Laura's a pretty good puller. And
Hmm.
she's a strong athlete. So I was like, oh yeah, she probably, I think she did do pretty good on it though. Definitely didn't. I'll have to look. Yeah, she got second. So I knew she
Yeah.
wouldn't do bad on it, but man,
Well,
Alex
what
crushed
surprised
it.
me about Ricky is that he took first place with a 27-second difference between
Yeah,
first and second.
he was
And he
and
would have been faster if he wouldn't have gotten no rep.
yeah. Well, and he didn't even look like he was like worried. Like, he was just
No,
walking
he just walked back.
back and forth. Yeah, because
Yeah.
let's see, Alex Gann got 5:19 and Laura got 5:33. So that wasn't, Alex Exam wasn't
That's still a good
sprinting to the
spread.
end, but still a good
Yeah.
spread. So 6:20 for Ricky Garrard, and then Pat Vellner got 6:47. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah,
Um,
that workout was fun. I like workouts like that because they're quick, but they're good spectacle, and they do um, have like a nice layout. Like I thought it was a very
mhm.
clean looking. You could, with that one though, sometimes um, I think the reason that they'll opt like later on in day 3, they had that ring muscle up, handstand push up, and snatch one. Like they'll opt to also have the other platform so you can tell like who's ahead, right? So maybe they
Mhm.
could have added like another squat rack, but that's so many plates and so much weight. So doesn't surprise me. In terms of the spectacle, in terms of like watching it, it was super fun. But maybe if you wanted to be able to like walk out from going to the bathroom and see who's in first place, you wouldn't be able to see that. So um, anyway, yeah. So the next event 3, the circus, it was a 40 cal ski erg for guys, 32 for ladies, 5 single arm strongman dumbbell shoulder to overhead per side, 100 for guys, 70 for ladies, and then the killer cage down and back. Killer cage is basically just a long ass row of monkey bars. So this is something that I do remember them having to change for the weather. Originally, the killer cage had to have been an unbroken stretch of, all the way down. If you drop down halfway, you'd have to start back at the beginning. But because of the rain, they just said wherever you drop down, just restart there. This was something I was shocked to see, like carnage. I mean, people's hands were ripping so bad during this event, just gushing blood, like gross. Yeah, I was like, ooh. Normally I'm not queasy, but Emma Lawson's hands uh, were pretty rough. I remember seeing like just like at one point she lifted her hand and it was just all red. So
When is the last time
and
any
people
of
were
these guys
just
have done
slipping off.
anything like that?
Uh Killer Kate. I think we saw it in 2011 or 12. We saw something like it, and that
At
was
the
about it
at the games?
at the
Or
games. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's,
and there
that's
was a lot of people
crazy.
that just did like one at a time. There were some people that did the nice actual kind of monkey swing. And those people definitely did better. The one person who really shocked me on this event was Danny Spiegel. She cruised through this like it was nobody's business. in terms of, I guess, the killer cage, I can see how she's got that pull. She's got the strength on the skier, and then single arm 70 pounds overhead is nothing to her. So I do really like the dumbbell. They're the strongman dumbbell implement. That's kind of a thing of Rogue that they like to do, is like try to cross the line there of like giving the CrossFitters some strongman implements to play around with. Like last year they did the log lift. So looking into, so Roman Krennikov took first place on this event with a time of 9:18, and then Laura Horvath took first on that event with a time of 10:48. So I don't really honestly remember. I'm trying to. There's nothing super remarkable about that performance for Laura. Like, it's not surprising that she won that. Tia got second with a time of 11:22. So I guess the one thing that's like pretty impressive is that Laura blew everyone out of the water by 40 seconds. So I guess just to me, like the two athletes that were, because Danny got third. And I guess I just remember being like, yeah, of course Laura and Danny did that well. Like, they've got the bodies to just pull that skierg.
Going back to event 2, the thing that did surprise me on that was Tia right away going to singles. In those muscle ups, she went right to singles.
Yeah, she got fifth.
Yeah, in that, but I'm sure she was cruising through the lifts. But that's, I just, because that makes me think about this one when she got second. So it's like
maybe she just
it's a
knew
gymnastic movement or something. I don't know.
She didn't do the Rogue Invitational last year, so this is her first time on a log. And every single person, every single female, maybe every single person did singles last year on the log. So maybe for your first time, you just, and there's really hard, you don't really know how to train that. Like, unless Rogue doesn't sell it. So you basically have to train it somehow.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
sorry. Go back to event 3.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. That workout was, didn't really excite me. I still like event 2 a little bit better than that. I do, other than the fact that they had that strongman implement in there. Any other things on that? Okay. So
just other than that, like, it's really cool to see. Although she's not my favorite athlete, it's cool to see Danny up at the top for that one. She's looking a lot leaner this year. So it's cool to see her start picking up some points and getting higher places.
Yeah. She did look really
she had abs this year.
Well, she had a lot of sportsmanship this year. She looked like there was, there's a lot of athletes that just kind of like tut around the backside, and she just looked like she was talking to everyone. And that's one thing that I really liked about that, is like sometimes CrossFit can be so closed off and people aren't always, out like talking to you, and people can get really intense, especially at competitions. So I do like how she really was talking to everyone, talking to the fans, being super social. That was nice to see. So
not pulling a Brooke Wells and caring about her Instagram more.
So I don't know. She cares about her Instagram quite a bit. So
I'm sure.
So day 3, event 4, it's called 10th inning. I love this event. So 4 ring muscle ups, 8 handstand push-ups, however you wanted it to be. Some people did opt for a couple rounds of strict, which is surprising. And then 12 power snatch. Let's just take a quick pause here. Well, maybe later. But I was just thinking about going through and just kind of thinking about how much hinging they've already kind of accumulated throughout or just lower leg fatigue, right? This is 10 rounds. I guess I didn't write it there. 10 rounds of 4 ring muscle ups, 8 handstand push ups, and 12 power snatches. It was a very lightweight 95-65. They could do this with their little toe if they needed, if they wanted to, right? However, that's a lot of reps. It's a lot of repage. So I'm trying to remember, let's look. Yeah, the time on this was 15 minutes plus for ladies. So Tia Claire Toomey, of course, she got first place on this. She is kind of the queen of pacing it out at a pace that she's comfortable and just no one can hang with it. So 15:55 was her time. The next closest time was Emma Carey at 16:37. So almost a minute
Wow.
after. So that just shows you on a workout like that, where it's a whole minute or almost a whole minute, Tia did a perfect job pacing that. So, and I believe from the very beginning, she did 3 sets of 4 on the snatches. From the very beginning, did not even on the last set, I think. Maybe on the last set she did all 12. But like for 9 rounds, she did 3 sets of 4, put it down. It was like the same thing. And this is one of the things that I always say is like, you can tell how a champion moves or like who the champion is based on how they move. Like whether you like her or don't like her, whatever, if you like Laura Moore or anything like that. Tia moves like the 6-time fittest woman on earth. Like it's insane how well she moves. So event 4's first place winner on this event was Noah Olson. How could you ever forget that? That performance was so impressive. And he got a time of 16:10. So even Tia Claire Toomey beat him by 15 seconds. Him and the rest of the male field. Yes, of course, we have to take into the fact that, women weigh less and, they're a little shorter most of the time, right? So their limbs there's not so much pulling or pushing, but still very impressive. There was quite a bit of a surprising cardiovascular piece to this. People were quite out of breath, especially immediately after those sets of snatches. So, and then BKG Bjorgvin,
Yeah.
Bjorgvin, Carl Gudmundsson. His first name always throws me for a loop. He got second place at 16:22. So, I think the time cap was 20 minutes. So there was a lot of caps on this one. So yeah, I loved that workout. I liked that it was a spectacle. And this was the one where the first 5 rounds, I believe you did snatches on the first platform. The second 5 rounds, you did it on the further platform. I feel like they do this for the main reason is to create more of a spectacle. Like I say, like you could go to the bathroom or go grab popcorn and come back and know who's winning, right? Based on who's in the front. The nice thing added to that is once you get more tired, you have a little bit more time to walk back, breathe between, finishing out those matches and having to go back for the last couple sets of ring muscle ups. So anything to add here?
No? Not really. I was hoping Jason Hopper was a little higher on this one. But I was hoping, but he also he wasn't promising in the second workout either, which was gymnastics. So sounds like he needs some work.
Yeah, just a bit of work. And if he did an interview with on Savan podcast couple days before this competition, and he opened up a lot about why he did so bad at the games. If you remember correctly, he got 31st, which is rough after a 7th place finish at the games the year before. So basically, he just said that he went to the Hard Work Pays Off camp with Matt Frazier in Virginia, and him and his wife just sacrificed literally everything, and all he did was train to the point where he just didn't honor the fact that he's a balanced athlete. He's kind of like, to me, he kind of reminds me of Ariel Lowen, where they are such good examples of success at a very balanced pace. So like there's of course the higher up ones that, um, Laura Horvath and Tia Claire Toomey, um, and Jeff and Roman and stuff. They are just like sold out to crowd. Like they do nothing else. That's all they do. That's all their life consists of. But that's not to say that Jason and Ariel don't train hard, but they just have a little bit more substance, a little bit more behind the camera, I guess. So Jason basically is working his way back to becoming more of a balanced athlete, and because of that, I mean, he placed 7th at the Rogue Invitational, and that's, I mean, with him barely really training. He's like, I go in for like 60 to 90 minutes a day and I train, and then I go home between, this and the games. So he's like, I'm pretty happy with this outcome. So
Is it? I didn't read. I haven't listened to that podcast. Is he talking about how is he doing other stuff outside of CrossFit? As
he's
in,
just
like,
being like,
lifestyle?
he's just being more himself. Like he's going to church now. And so like, he basically was like, all we did was train. We even trained on Sundays. Like I gave up, going to church. I didn't prioritize my faith. I didn't hang out with friends. I had nothing to give to my wife. Like he's like, I completely went against what I normally do and what I know makes me a good athlete. So he's like, having a relationship with the Lord, prioritizing my wife, hanging out with my friends, being social. He's like, that's what gives me the zest for life and the ability to be a good athlete. And I just completely turned that off and tried to go against that when I was training with the Hard Work Pays Off crew. And he completely burnt out. Like basically he said at the games, like he just didn't even really want to be there. So that's how you know it's bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, but speaking of Jason Hopper, he killed this next event, and none of us were surprised because former Clemson football player. He does move weight well. He moves fast. He's great under obstacles. So event 5, the duel.
Oh, yeah.
This was awesome. It's usually a big spectacle. Last year it was, I remember, rope climbs, overhead squats, double unders, something like that. So what they like to do is they like to take people out. The only bad thing is this event takes freaking forever. So they take people, I think this year they let the top 5 in, like they got the first round free basically. You put 5 people in one heat, you run it by like smaller 5-person heats, and you basically just 3, 2, 1, go sprint, and you're doing like 3 different things as fast as you can, and you're working your way down a bracket to the top 5, and then the top 2 go against each other. So this year it was over under log. So they had, I'm trying to remember, high log, low log, high log, dead sprint to the sandbag to teeters. So some pretty freaking heavy sandbags, 200 pounds for guys, 150 for ladies, 3 of them. They had to toss them into these kind of weighted totter things. So there's a bunch of plates on one side and big like basket on the other. And once it got all of the sandbags into the basket, the teeter went to the other, and then they had to like hit the box to tag in their time. So Jason Hopper won this, and Danny Spiegel won it. Right? I'm trying to remember. Did Danny Spiegel win it? Ooh, I'm brain farting now.
Yeah.
She did. Okay, she went against Laura Horvath. That's why. Okay, so Laura Horvath got second. Danny Spiegel got first. Danny Spiegel completed this in 21 seconds. Almost 20, yeah. 21.75 seconds. That's crazy. Yeah. What did the guys complete it in? Let's look. 19.94 seconds for Jason Hopper. That is so fast.
She beat Laura by 0.08 of a second.
It was like I love events like this because it just, you're like holding on to your chair. You don't even realize that you're like, your hands are sweating a little bit. It's so intense. So, yeah, I really liked this event because it's all about accuracy. You have like literally no room for messing up. I did feel bad there on like one of the first heats. There was a girl that had a false start and she got completely eliminated. And I was like, oh, that's like what a bummer to not even be able to do the event. Obviously, rules are rules, but
Mhm.
dang, that sucks. So, um, man, I was really impressed with how athletic Danny looked on the over under logs or over ever logs. She just rolled right over, rolled right under, rolled right over, and went right into the sprint. Like if you guys want to watch it, look up the Duel 3 Rogue Invitational and watch Danny Spiegel just look like a freaking. I
I'm
was
saying
surprised.
she's definitely worked on her cardio capacity
Hmm.
this year. 100%. She's always been strong.
Yeah, yeah.
But to combine that with some more cardiovascular endurance, like coming in sixth in the first event, the running, like that's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
really good for her.
first, taking first with this one, yeah, that's cool.
Well, I guess speaking of strong, so the event 6 was max deadlift.
If they hadn't been hinging enough all day.
I was gonna say pause. Let's talk
Oh,
about it.
sorry. Go ahead.
Um,
Sorry.
well, it's just perfect timing. So much hinging, so much posterior chain demand from day one. Okay, yeah, sure, they ran on day one, but they had a bunch of rucks, and then they had to pull this thing.
Mhm.
I mean, your low back, your glutes, your nervous system is firing that whole time, right? Then you got a bunch of back squats. Then you got a bunch of ski erg, right? And then you have power snatches, and then you have all those sandbag to teeter. Think about if you made it from heat or like, the first bracket, he won all the way down. You did that event like, or you did that sprint. I'm trying to remember how many times. 6 or 7 times, I think, if I'm remembering what they talked about. So that's, I mean, Danny lifted 150-pound sandbag as fast as she could at least 20 times,
Mhm.
anywhere from 21 to 28 times, I guess, right? So, um, and then now you're like, okay, at the end of day 3, after all that, now you get to lift a barbell as heavy as you can. Um, as a spectacle, this was really boring and took a really long time, but everyone loves the heavy deadlift. So once basically cheated a little bit, I would like kind of forward through some of the earlier because they did 5-pound jumps, which is
Mm.
ridiculous. And they started super light for the ladies. So it took like 2 hours to get through the ladies. Um, and then, yeah, the winner of the ladies, Alex Gazan, 425 pounds. Holy cow. I think this is just what put the cherry on top with how well she did in the squatting earlier that day. And then,
Mhm.
I guess Tia Claire Toomey and Danny Spiegel and Laura Horvath weren't far behind her. So I think Laura got, let's see. Oh, Laura got 415. Who got 420? Oh, Danny Spiegel got 420. Um, and then Alex Kazan 425. And she still had like a good 15, 20 pounds in the tank.
Mhm.
It, I think a lot of them would have done better if they didn't only do 5-pound jumps. Um,
That's a lot of
yeah,
volume already.
yeah. So on top of everything else they did that day, then they're doing like 20 deadlifts just to get to their max. That's quite a bit. So, and then Chandler Smith lift 6 something. I feel like I should remember this.
610.
610. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
None of us were really surprised by this. He's really good at lifting. So I guess the people that Danny Spiegel and I had Danny Spiegel and Chandler Smith as like the winners of this, but Alex
Didn't
Zan,
they
I
took it
mean,
last year, didn't they? Of the log
yeah,
press last year? Yeah.
yeah. And then Danny, last year at the games, 2022 games, had the 250 sandbag to shoulder, ground to shoulder or
Mhm.
something. I think it was 250, something like that. So she's just really good at doing those spectacle lifting sports. Um, Day 4, we had an event, event 7 called Hulk Hands. I liked the name of this event. It was 30
Cool.
Echo Bike calories, 20 double fat bell ground overhead, 75-foot front lunge. So it was supposed to be a front lunge to Zeus. They changed it because of the weather, and they just did stationary lunges with the kettle or with the fat bells in a front rack position. So I think they just did like 40 lunges, something like that. They had to run from the kettlebells and to the hill, and then drag the same bag that they did after the run on the first day up the hill, run back down, or as Roman Krennikov did, he just slid on his butt
Slide.
all the way down on the hill. 40 more lunges, 20 more ground to overhead, and then 30 Cal Echo Bike to finish. That one's just a mean workout, especially finishing on the Echo Bike.
Ugh.
I don't, I don't talk about that. So after a night of a whole day of whole weekend of posterior chain, now you've got to do a lot more posterior chain and cardiovascular. So, um, I don't know. I don't know if this workout was. I feel like this workout was fun-ish to watch.
It's
They
just
did it in the
ouch.
rain. Yeah,
Yeah, this workout's just
it's just one of
ouch.
those. It's just it's a good way to like separate the field a little bit, like stir the pot. But it wasn't necessarily something that I'm like, yeah, that was my favorite. So, um, let's see who took first. Dallin Pepper. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the part of the event that I love. Dallin Pepper took first. I love that guy. Is awesome. He moves so well, but he just kind of likes to just hide in the crowd sometimes. And I wish he would
Hmm.
just fight people off a little bit more. Jason Hopper got third. Roman Krennikov got second. Um, Yele Hoste got fourth. I've been really enjoying watching Yele. Um, he's new to the scene. He just kind of popped out of nowhere, and he moves so well for a freaking giraffe. He's so tall.
Hmm.
It's nuts. And you wouldn't think,
Was this his first rogue?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think one of his first games, he's
Mm.
just been so surprisingly impressive. Not that I knew anything about it before, but that's why it's been surprising is that he just came out of nowhere, at least for me, and it's been awesome watching him. Um, okay, event 7, Laura Horvath got first. No surprise there. I feel like her on that bike, she can like go into that pain cave and just work. Her and Gabriella Magala got first and second, and they're training partners. So this might be something that they're just this kind of pain and movement they're
Mm.
probably just familiar doing together. And Alex Kazan got third, so that was good. Let's see where did Tia Claire Toomey got fifth. So um, yeah, not a ton to say about that event, but other than Dallin Pepper crushed it. Event 8, Big Cat, 5 rounds for time, 6 box jumps, 50-foot handstand walk, and a run. The running was just between stations, I believe. Or was it up the hill? No, it was okay. So it was big, tall box jumps, 42 inches for guys, 36 for ladies. Jog to the handstand walk, do the handstand walk, like run around this pillar thing, and then do the handstand walk and back to the box. So nothing super fancy there either. I do like the handstand walk element to it because I do love me a good handstand walk event. But people are getting so good at it that I don't think it's as entertaining as it used to be. Like I love when handstand walk events are just a disaster, like it was at the games this year, in terms of all that extra up and down and handstand free air, handstand push-ups, and then pullovers and all that extra crap. But I love that. But this one was just like a mere inconvenience. So, uh, who got first? Danielle Brandon got first. We're not surprised by that. She can run on her hands. Tia
Yeah.
Claire Toomey got second, which I feel like that checks out. The thing that did surprise me is that Emma Lawson got seventh.
She's usually really good, like
Well,
overhead
she's just a good
or
CrossFitter,
upside
and I
down,
feel like these
inverted.
are, yeah, I feel like Emma Lawson, she's a good CrossFitter. She got fifth in the um, ring muscle ups and handstand push ups and snatches. So you know that she's like pretty good with gymnastics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. I mean, she got top 10 with the dual, so you know she's got some explosiveness. So like, why did she get seven? I don't know. It's not necessarily a bad placement,
Fatigue,
but
maybe. I don't know.
yeah, that's true. That's a morning of after a lot of work the day before. Alex Kazan got
Yeah.
12th. That was slightly surprising, but she also is not known for her handstand walking. I don't think so. Um, let's
I was
see.
excited to see
Errol Lowen got
Paige
fourth.
up at the top on this one.
Man, she's so young and she's so new to the scene. Sometimes I forget about her. Not like a bad way. I just forget that she's still crushing it.
Well,
She
I
did pretty
mean,
good at the games this year
she.
too.
But like all the other events, other than event 3, she was 16th, 15th, a lot of 15th. 3 events she would place
Yeah,
15th. So it's like she wasn't at the front of the pack for a lot of them. But this one, she's like, I got this.
I do see Emily Rolfe. Her placements are kind of a whirlwind, but Bethany Flores got she got sixth on the first event, which was surprising, and then an 11th on the Hulk Hands one, and then so she got two 11ths on day 4. Um,
Hmm.
that seems like a pretty good placement. I mean, she literally couldn't even do the deadlifts because her back has been such a problem. A lot of people had something to say about that. um, but yeah, and then Shelby Neal, kind of the underdog. So Shelby Neal is a newer girl to the scene. She took over Annie Thorne's outer spot because Annie's pregnant. So um, just kind of got thrown in last minute. So she was there just to be a kind of a placeholder a little bit and just get more experience. But she did pretty well on that event. So
Mm-hmm.
um, let's look at the guys real quick. So Victor Hoffer got first.
There we go.
Love me some Victor. He's awesome. Tudor Magda. That was surprising. But not because so he's the guy that like everyone's like, who's the guy that can run on his hands? That's Tudor. But my thing was he gets so fatigued so fast that he slows down. So that's even almost more impressive to me that he can run on his hands so fast and recover that fast, like recover all that extra time, and that. So, but at the same time, he is really explosive. So those boxes probably didn't hold him back at all. And then Jay Crouch got third. That one was impressive. Jay is pretty impressive. Um, and then the last event, we got 3 rounds, 25 double unders, 5 power cleans at 225, 155, 2 rounds, 25 at double unders, 5 squat cleans at the same weight, and then 1 round, 25 at double unders, and 5 clean and jerks. I was really surprised to see the carnage caused by this event. I think it was kind of people cracking under the pressure. This is where, for the first time in my life, I've ever seen Tia kind of crack under pressure. So, and this is where Tia and Laura went basically head to head to figure out who's going to be in first place, and Laura won it. So, this was also inside. It was supposed to be outside, but because of the rain, but everyone who was there told me that they didn't even announce that it was being moved inside. So everyone was like waiting for it to happen outside. And then by the time they started the event inside, it wasn't even raining outside. So there was just so much all over the place. Yeah, Jeffrey Adler took first on this event. And then I'm trying to remember if it was, yeah, Laura took first. And not only her heat, but the entire event. Emma Lawson took second. Tia took third. So Tia crumbled so bad that she went from almost winning it like head to head with Laura, and then she went from that to third. So, anything to say about that?
Oh, that was an interesting event. It's like super basic, but
Mm-hmm. I liked stuff
Oh,
like that though because it was quick, it was easy to follow, and it was just one of those like don't crack under the pressure. Like this is so simple. You guys have all done it 1,000 times in some way or another, but if you lose it, you're done basically. So
yeah.
I love stuff like
It was
that.
crazy the times on these though.
Mhm.
Like
So fast.
Laura 347, Jeffrey Adler 358. Like what the heck? Cruising through
Laura
this
went so
stuff.
fast. I'm not surprised though. Laura's pretty good at double unders, and obviously 155 is like a tinker toy for her. So, um,
Yeah.
all right. So strongman event one, tower power deadlift for reps. Bobby Thompson won this. It is a 900-pound deadlift for reps with a 60-second time limit. I think he got 8. Is it 8?
Yep.
Oh wow, I have such a good memory. Um, I was like, my brain was like sizzling trying to figure out how the heck you can pick up 900 pounds for 8 reps, but he did it.
He tied with
Um,
Trey Mitchell for that event. Yeah, they both got 8.
oh, I only remember. Wow, maybe I missed Trey do it. Yeah, that was so impressive. It was interesting too because it's such a tall contraption that the like wiggle in the bar really throws him off. So, okay. Uh, event 2, the Iron Bull sled pull. Who pulled their Achilles on this?
Was
I
that
remember. It was gross to watch.
uh it was probably Trey because he didn't I didn't want I did not I watched very intermittent on the strongman stuff, but Trey didn't compete in anything after that.
Yeah, I think it was Trey. Yeah, it was gross. People were like, "Don't watch it if you have a queasy stomach." And I was like, "I'm not watching it because I can't." So that stuff like that happens, though. You gotta be careful.
Mhm.
Basically, it was this really cool looking bull iron bowl, and they had to pull it. Um, and how long is it? I'm trying to remember how long it is. There's a certain amount of meters, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to
I watched this event, but can't remember what they were saying, if they were saying meters or feet. Um, Somehow missed the Achilles thing. Kind of glad I did. I'm like, "What?" So, uh, Matthias Kiliniskowski. I really want to call him Mike Wazowski. That's how you know I have kids. Monsters Inc. on replay. He finished this workout in 42 seconds, which is crazy. So, and then Mitchell Hooper, of course, the guy got second. No one else finished this workout except for Matthias. So
dang.
very impressive. The Roga Coaster was event 3. This was my favorite one to watch. Matthias also won this. You basically sit down and you pull like 2 or 3 giant sandbags up a giant hill, and it sounds like a roller coaster when it's like going up the start. It's like
Yeah.
fastest time wins. So Matthias got 27.95 seconds, which is freaking ridiculous watching this event. The slowest is that's not capped. So Luke got capped. The slowest one that, you know, finished, because I think it's a minute is the time cap, something like that. 47.28 seconds is the slowest in terms of that time frame. So I can't remember if they. Yeah, I think it is time cap by a minute. So that was so impressive. Tom Stolman got Tom and Luke, obviously brothers, right? Tom is the older one. I don't remember. I think
Uh,
Tom's the older one.
I don't remember.
They look very related. You can definitely tell they're brothers. Tom got second place with a time of 33.08. So still one with a solid 6 seconds, which is
Mhm.
pretty impressive. Um, Strongman event 4, max rep log lift. Tom Stoltman won this in 90 seconds. Tom got 10 reps, which is freaking crazy. That thing's so heavy. Let's see, what did second place got 9, and then there was a tie for third place at 8 between Bobby and Thomas Evans. So I like watching this event though. That one just like the deadlift one. I don't know. I'm a very like, maybe that's the power lifter coming out in me. The stationary, pick this really heavy thing up as many times as you can. And then event 5 was the duel, the sandbag medley. So very similar to the duel in the CrossFit thing, where they basically pick up the sandbags as fast as they can and put it into. Was it the teeter for the strongman? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
They had the cool cash bags though. Those are awesome. Just like in the last event for the CrossFit, they had the cash money bars. I want one of those. It's a bright green bar with money symbols all over it. Tom Stoltman won that as well. He finished in 17 seconds and 57 seconds. Second place was Mitchell Hooper, right behind him at 17 seconds. Did I say 17 minutes? 17.57 seconds. Mitchell Hooper was right behind him at 17.84 seconds. So really, really tight race. That one's always exciting to watch. Again, makes my palms sweat. I'm like, why am I freaking out? What's going on here? So things to note before we kind of wrap it up. Hooper and Vellner didn't win a single event, but they won the whole event. Or they like took first. So sometimes winning the events doesn't mean you win the whole thing. So, and then we kind of talked about it. You know, Tia placing second was kind of this like, you know, solidification of Laura's win at the games. There are a lot of people that are like, well, if she didn't have a baby, she wouldn't have won. But it's like she did have a baby, so you can't really use that argument. And even in Laura's post win interview, she basically was like, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't think I would have won if Tia was at the games, and this was kind of my way to show them like, yeah, I still won. I still earned that win. So no matter what, I definitely think Laura's been working hard. It's about due time for her. So I guess the last thing I kind of wanted to chat about was like one person who impressed you and one person who kind of let you down, if you have any of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a usual impress. I'm always backing up Pat.
Laura?
I love him as an Pat Vellner. I love him as an athlete. And I love how he's always like under the radar at the beginning, and then he comes up and just pulls back.
Comes out swinging.
Yeah, like a top 3 or top 5 finish. Within the guys, probably overall, I like seeing Ricky Gerard get back up there. A guy that did impress me, he was he's up there, is Travis Mayer. He was the highest placing U.S. competitor, and yeah,
homeboy has like 1,000 kids. He's like 40 some 8 years old, and he's like, he owns a gym. He has so much on his plate. All these other boys are just, you know, single guys just training 8 hours a day. And then Travis walks in, and I'm like,
that's how CrossFit was. Like it was like doctors or firefighters that were like had full-time jobs, but then also competed and had families or like trained. And they didn't train for 3-4 hours a day. They did, like you're talking about like Jason, like
an hour, maybe 2,
90 minutes, you know, whatever. And yeah, it's like, this is how CrossFit was. These were the athletes that you had. And it's cool seeing Travis up there. I don't think really anyone like let me down.
In terms of like, did you have an expectation of maybe someone that you thought would do better and they just didn't do real hot?
Always in the back of my mind, I want Noah to do better. This is particularly in the guys, but he won't.
Yeah, I mean, this was his last individual competition, I'm pretty sure. So he was just coasting.
Yeah.
Um,
Having a good time. What about you
so
for the
for
guys?
me, I guess for the guys, I don't know. Surprisingly, I was really happy with how Jason finished.
Hmm.
Only I think only just because following his poor finish at the games. Um, and then who let me down on the guy's side? Ricky Garrard. Not
You
because
thought he
he did
placed higher?
not because he yeah, like I thought, I don't know. I feel like he's been really hyped up and I'm all about like for some reason I like the tea of like him being kicked out because he was on drugs and now he's he's back and I'm like, oh, I just want him to come back and be like, haha, whether I'm on drugs or not, I'm still amazing. And yes, he got fifth, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not horrible. Obviously, fifth is still really impressive. But for some reason I'm like, I want him on that podium. So um he took a nosedive on event 3, 18th place. I'm like, Ricky. So Ricky Mack. I guess the other person that really impressed me was Chandler Smith. So,
Oh, yeah.
but we kind of already talked about that earlier in terms of just, I think once he did well last year, he just started to climb. What about ladies? Anyone specific?
I'll let you go
Anyone?
first so you can talk about her. I'm sure you want to talk about her.
Alex Gazan.
Yep.
She's my girl. I love her. Fifth place. I mean, homegirl could take 20th, and I still probably would be like, I love her. Just she's so just how little time she's done CrossFit and in terms of like a really competitive level, and she's just crushing it. So, and then I, I don't know if there's anyone that like let me down on the ladies' side. I guess Emily Rolfe getting 15 was slightly surprising.
Mm.
Danny Spiegel getting in the top 10 was a huge surprise for me. Oh, Danielle Branding getting seventh. I'm like, girl, I think
That's what I was gonna
there's a
say. Yeah.
I think there's a couple athletes that are just more for like the hype of it, for like the sport. And I think Danielle's starting to fall in that quarter. Not to say that she's not a good athlete, because she's a good athlete. But I
It's for the
think that
followers.
she's more, yeah, it's for the followers, it's for the hype, it's for the like the
Yeah.
look and the vibe. And that's important for the sport. But I think she's not necessarily
I
going to be
guess.
a
Yeah.
champion. And that's, I don't think that's even her goal. So she's talked about just wanting to be like fulfilled and happy with her life and her performance and her efforts, and so I feel like she's living that out. So
To me,
see.
for me, she's a little like the Noah Olson
Hmm.
on the girls' side.
Good
But
vibe.
yeah, but Noah's also like very much so about the competitors, as in like he likes to be a nice guy. Like he wants to be friends with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
Danielle is
Um,
not that way.
yeah, she's got that like mean girl vibe, like a little fake.
She's
Yeah.
the couple times I've talked with her, she's been very, very nice. Um, but I just I think she really likes the drama of the sport, is what I think.
Mm.
But that's me making assumptions based on the little knowledge I have of who she is. Um, I guess the other person I wish who would have done better is Ariel Lowen. She got third at the games. What is she
Oh.
doing getting eight? And I have a
Well,
bone to
yeah,
pick
she.
with her about her chicken wing ring muscle ups. Those things would scare the crap out of me. I hate when people do that. I'm like, you're gonna tear something. I know it's competition, but eesh.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, yeah. Anyone else? Anyone impress you or
Nope. I love seeing
think
Laura at the top,
at the top?
and Alex Kazan is making her way. Yeah, I was saying with Danielle. Uh, Glad to see Tia in second.
Yeah, that's a refreshing thing. Honestly, for me, I ain't got no hatred for anyone, but I was getting a little tired TNT at the top. I was like, okay,
Yep.
we did it. We get it. You fit. Can you let someone else take a try now? So,
Yeah.
all right. That's it for me. I'm done
Yep. That's
rambling.
it for me. Right. Well, thanks guys for joining us. today, this evening, on Grit Daily Dose with E Squared, talking a little bit about the Rogue Invitational. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Catch you later. I gotta do the exit. Here we go. Oh goodness. Sheesh. I think they deleted our intro or outro.
What?
All
Do
right.
you want me to do it for you? Start singing the beat.
No. I'll
Okay.
put
All
it
right.
in. Bye guys. See you later.
Bye.